Now that we've talked about reading with infants, the job of reading to a toddler becomes much trickier. As you know, toddlers are on the move and they have their own agenda. So you have to be creative when reading to toddlers. So be prepared and be committed, and you will certainly see the fruits of your labor. In addition to continuing with bedtime routines and daily reading rituals, the reasons to read to your toddler are to increase vocabulary, increase connections to what they're experiencing around the world, their world, and just to encourage a love of learning and literature. A common frustration for parents who are trying their best to read every single day to their toddlers is that they don't sit still for long and they're on the move. And so you are forced to be really creative about how you're going to fit that time in. And so my biggest suggestion and bit of advice is that you don't give up. Continue on and continue to show them that this is important. It is a part of your daily life, and you're going to see them through this busy time. So if that means reading to them while they're in the high chair and eating, their Cheerios in the morning, or if they're, while they're in the bathtub, they get a book, or if you have to break it up into really small increments throughout the day, that's okay. I promise that if you stick with it and you show them how important this is to you and your family, a love of words and language and books and reading and writing, they will settle down eventually and really come to enjoy and appreciate that time. And they'll be able to sit and experience longer amounts of reading each day. But hold strong and don't be afraid to break it up into many parts during the day. Another concern for some families is that by the end of the day, their children are just too tired and too cranky to sit and enjoy and have a nice experience surrounding books. So my suggestion there is don't save it for the evening and at bedtime. Do it first thing in the morning when they're fresh. If that works better for you and your child, it does not matter at all when the 20 minutes a day happens. It just matters that it happens. And again, it doesn't have to happen all at once. But your child really needs to be read to, read with, and have lots of conversation about books and reading for, at least 20 minutes every single day. Many of the books that you are reading to your infant and baby are going to be appropriate still for your toddler. They also may be moving toward a little bit more sophisticated book, and they'll start to develop a real preference for what types of books they like, and that's great. There's no problem with that. The board books are still a great choice because, again, toddlers are tough on books. Some children may begin to develop preferences, and books about trucks, trains, and tractors are definite favorites. Books that are funny, I encourage you to learn a little bit about Mo Willems. He's a hysterical author, and children really love his books. They may be ready for a little bit more of a story, especially if you have a toddler that will sit and entertain a book for a little bit longer than 5 or 6 seconds at a time. The books that an 18-month-old or 2-year-old will enjoy expand at that age. If you need additional information on ways to encourage your toddler, to sit and read, or, different ways to engage them with, books and literacy and reading and writing, www.readingrockets.org. And they have an abundance of information for families and teachers that you can, print, read later, Or it's an incredible site, and I really encourage you to check it out. You're sure to find some really valuable information about reading to and with your toddler. Some families may be looking for ways to use technology to encourage a love of language and literature with their young children. As long as you're being mindful about how much screen time your children are getting, whether it's with, from a TV or the computer or a mobile device, that's something that you want to bring into their lives and monitor as a family. Then there are many wonderful resources for your family. Enhanced ebooks on devices such as the iPad brings a book to life, where the children can touch the characters, and they'll often, be able to make them move, and the text highlights as the words are read, which draws the children's attention to each word as it's read. And certainly the goal isn't that they're able to read as a toddler, but drawing their attention to the letters, to the words, so that they know that a book is made up of illustrations and text is really an important thing. So don't be afraid to use technology, to help you at this stage in the game. Because like we mentioned earlier, children have a tough time to sit still sometimes. This type of material will often encourage that behavior. Let's pretend you are my toddler and I have gotten you to sit still for 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm going to share a favorite book of mine with you. Fluffy and Barren, written by Laura Rankin. What animal is this? That's right, it's a dog. What noise does a dog make? Ruff, ruff. And what is this? Look, it's a little tiny duckling. The duck says, quack, quack, quack. Let's read the story about the dog and the duck. I wonder what this is going to be about. One summer day, someone new waddled into Barron's life. Her name was Fluffy. Barron had to share his food with her and his water. At night, she even followed him to his favorite sleeping place. They became friends. Every day, the two of them played together. Barron was good at tag. Fluffy was great at hide and seek. Both of them were terrific at squirrel chasing and fly snapping. As the summer passed, Fluffy grew bigger and bigger. By autumn, she was a full-grown duck. She and Barron stayed close and warm together all winter long. Look, she's not yellow anymore. Now she's a white duck. Then spring arrived, and 3 wild ducks landed in the pond. Fluffy watched, waddling back and forth toward the newcomers and then back to Barron again. What do you think's going to happen? But finally, she couldn't resist joining the other ducks. Suddenly, Barron had no one to play with him. Oh, poor Barron. I think he's feeling lonely. When it was time for dinner, Fluffy still hadn't returned. Barron had to eat alone. For the next 3 nights, Fluffy didn't curl up with Barron in their favorite sleeping place. Look at his sad, sad face. Those puppy dog eyes are so sad. Barron tried to play with Fluffy, but she was too busy making a nest. She laid 9 eggs in it, then gently settled herself on top and waited for them to hatch. 4 weeks later, there were ducklings. Fluffy wanted Barron to be the first one to meet them. Barron's tail wagged and wagged. Fluffy's wagged a lot too. At last it was time to play again, and oh, what fun they all had. That evening, Barron led the way to dinner. Never had he shared a happier meal. And after such a busy day, Everyone was eager to snuggle in together and fall asleep. Baron felt cozy and warm in his favorite sleeping place, with 9 brand new friends, and best of all, his old friend Fluffy. The end. It's crucial that good reading behaviors begin when your children are toddlers. This is when, you know, how they view reading and how they view books and how they view themselves as learners, really starts to take shape. So, take the time every day to read to them, read with them, be patient, and, you know, be persistent. This is important. This is something worth sticking with. Even if you feel like they're not invested and they're not buying in and it's not important to them, it will be if you stick with it. So, when you're looking at a book with your child and reading, if they're more interested in talking about the pictures than hearing you read the text, then stop reading the text. Talk to them about what they're looking at, what they're seeing, what it makes them think of, and really engage in rich conversation with your child. These are really important moments. And then eventually, once they've exhausted everything they can say about a picture, they'll let you go ahead and read the text on the page.